and Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley.
They were
all teams. They were all teams that were different. They were all teams that they had to play a different game against. Someone that had to alter. Jordan had a bigger spectrum of talent than what we're dealing with.
The talent was spread out in the league a lot more in Jordan's time than it ever was in LeBron's.
But I think
he could alter when it came to the Jazz to face up to Karl Malone.
This year's Warriors versus Jordan Bulls.
The Warriors
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the Warriors. I think the Warriors could beat pretty much any team that's ever been because they're just that ridiculously overpowered.
I agree, and I think that this is probably the best super team we've ever seen.
Yeah,
I really do.
Because it was so well built. You know, it was well drafted, easy contracts, and then one big ticket free agent.
There's one team that I can think of that would beat that I would have absolutely no doubt in my mind would beat this year's Warriors, and that is the Olympic team.
The Dream Team?
Any of the Olympic teams.
Any of you? The bronze medal team?
Bronze medal team?
When they were actually playing.
Yeah.
How can you compare to that, though? It's like,
that's
you gotta stay in the NBA. Who do you think?
That's questionable too, because you'd have to take some of the people off that team to play on the Warriors.
Exactly.
Yeah. Iguodala's got to get off that team. There goes Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Clay was on the Dream Team.
Because that's an all-star team that's not voted on by the fans.
Yeah, that's just a pure ridiculous.
That's a coach who knows basketball. The greatest college coach of all time who knows basketball.
I honestly would not mind seeing the Warriors against the 89, 90, 91 Detroit Pistons. That would be awesome.
They would get bullied.
That would be so awesome.
They would just shoot from. They would just have Steph and Clay and KD just taking shots from halftime, just pull up jumpers, and then the bad boys are not even able to.
You're making it sound
like 5 seconds after the shot hits.
Right?
You're making it sound like the Warriors team wasn't physical. Pachulia is not afraid to get physical.
No.
Draymond Green will mess anyone.
Yeah, I was going to say Draymond Green would love that series.
But he's one guy. He's one guy versus
Kevin Durant is super
the bad
physical.
boys. Yeah, but Kevin Durant isn't going to grab someone from underneath their ball sack and just tug.
But Draymond is.
The bad boys would.
Sure.
But that's Draymond versus all of the bad boys.
All right, we got a lot more.
I still think they'd win. I just think they'd end up coming out limping pretty heavily.
We got a lot more to get to, so I have this one question real quick before I read a little bit. So Dan, I'm gonna start with you. Just answer yes or no in brief description if you want. Does the 3-5 finals record detract from LeBron James' legacy?
Only in comparison to the people that have been there, like Jordan and Kobe, and just dominated each time. I don't think that you can say someone being 3-5 in the finals can be a detraction when so many other greats are 0-0 or 0-1 or what have you.
Good answer. What about you, Dan Beebe?
I think LeBron pretty much just takes away from his own legacy from just the stuff he says.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We got into a long debate about this, Dan O'Shea and I did. I think he complains too much. I think he doesn't give credit where credit's due.
Especially,
and he doesn't take blame for things that he controls.
And he said at the end of the finals, he was never part of.
There's no such thing. He's never been a part of a super team.
Yeah,
only twice. Whatever.
Yeah. Tony, came out like WWE stars. I remember this with Smoke. I saw that.
And they said they were going to get 8 rings or something.
Not 1, not 2.
Well,
not
he's been
3,
there 8 times. So
7.
that right.
They said 7.
7.
Tony.
I agree with the statement as far as it will take away from his legacy as far as looking back, and some people are going to care and put more weight on the championships than I feel are necessary. I don't think it takes away from how good of an athlete and how dominant he truly was in comparison to pretty much anybody else that stepped on the court against him. I don't think you can take that away from him with the record. I think it's something you can't ignore when in the conversation that you didn't have that almost killer instinct that Jordan and Kobe seem to possess.
But he also carried some teams there.
No, and I agree with that.
You know,
And that may not have been necessary for them entirely. They might have had better constructed teams, better coaching, certainly. But and then there is the example that when he does lose, he's pouty. He shoots himself in the foot. He puts his foot in his mouth constantly after he loses because there's always an excuse. There's always some kind of an excuse. This year was actually the first time that minus the super team comment, he said there's nothing to be upset about.
I read that, but I think I heard something that it was more of like a sarcastic.
No, I watched him.
You watched it? Okay, I thought I heard that it was like more of like
when asked about super teams, he said something like, "No, you guys all know my feelings about it. We'll talk more about it at a later time."
No, I've never been a part of a super team. I think that was talking about KD's joining.
It was about super teams in general.
Okay. Yeah, he said. I mean, to that he said, he can't give his true opinion either way because no matter what he says, it's going to be misconstrued, which I think is true. As with anyone that's got that kind of soapbox, there's always going to be taking stuff out of context.
Which is funny because not 2 weeks before the finals, someone said something about a super team. It was like, yeah, join a super team, do it. There's no reason not to.
You got the opportunity. If you've got a demand for you, by all means, jump on board.
Basically, is what he said. He's like, it is what it is. I'm for them.
Right.
So then him saying that was kind of ridiculous. But
yeah, I mean, he made a super team to beat a super team, and then a super team was made to beat him.
And his super team.
One has to ask, what's his criteria? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was done.
But one has to ask anyways, what is his overall criteria of a super team? Could he
that could be different for everyone.
Yeah, true.
What you classify as a super team?
Because the Warriors are kind of like another class.
Just because they have 4?
Maybe.
Is that why?
Maybe it's because it's more than a big 3.
The Heat had 4.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't understand. Even with the big 3 argument, you had Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron James, and then what? Udonis Haslem is a joke.
Ray Allen?
Ray Allen was toward the end. What's the other one? Mario Chalmers was a joke.
Yeah,
he's a national champion.
But they're good examples. They're good examples. How LeBron James makes the players on the court with him better because when he left, they sucked.
True. I don't think Chalmers is very good.
Not very good.
Yeah, I think when he was playing with LeBron, it was like seeing
Tristan
a completely
Thompson.
different
Watch
player.
what happens to Tristan.
Oh yeah,
Thompson
he's gonna disappear. He's gonna get a big contract, and he's gonna look like he did in the finals, which is where's Tristan Thompson?
He's gonna get better. I almost guarantee he's going to get better because he won't have to worry about being out physicaled by a guard. So I think that's going to be. I think Tristan Thompson will get better without having to worry about being outshined by someone who is in a quote-unquote weaker position than he is.
So does it keep it going, or does it plateau after LeBron leaves, if LeBron James leaves, or if he leaves?
Well, he's going to... I'm pretty sure LeBron James is going to at least retire before Tristan Thompson's career is over.
No, of course.
Well, maybe. We don't know. How old is he?
Yeah, LeBron is going to play until
51?
Until small LeBron is in the
and that's
retired.
Yes, exactly. No, but that's what I would say.
I wouldn't be surprised to see LeBron still balling out there if he had to be in a wheelchair.
LeBron's going to play with his son. This is what I'm saying. LeBron and his son are going to be on the same NBA team, and it's going to be magical.
I don't think that's not out of the realm of possibility. You had this conversation.
Could you imagine that finals? LeBron versus Baby Bron?
Baby Bron. No, but I think that the 3, just having 3 out of the 5, or having some losses in your finals or whatnot, I don't think it necessarily tarnishes LeBron James. I think LeBron James...
Getting there is an accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly.
In and of itself.
And I think that...
Except for this season.
Yeah. But, no, I think that is something that's going to...
Winning a game against that team is an accomplishment in and of itself.
That will keep his name being mentioned in the greatest of all time, and... Going back to what we were just saying of his longevity, him coming into the league, we knew that as long as he stayed healthy and was as productive as we thought he was going to be, he was going to probably beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in points because he would have that many more years.
Well, didn't the Sports Illustrated cover say "All Hail the King" when he was a junior in high school?
Yeah.
So we knew what we were getting into. Anyways, so. We gave who we think are the best players. Let's hear who some NBA legends have said are the best players.
Yeah, I did want to hear this.
One of them is going to be a surprise answer that I'm pretty sure none of us expected to hear. So we'll start with Larry Bird. He said, quote unquote, probably Jordan. Magic, Jordan. Bill Russell said Jordan. Isaiah Thomas said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Karl Malone said Wilt Chamberlain. Charles Barkley said Jordan. Elgin Baylor said Jordan. Bob Cousy said Jordan. Shaq said Jordan. Dr. J said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Jerry West said Jordan. Scottie Pippen, probably biased, said Jordan.
Yeah.
Bill Walton said Kareem. Hakeem Olajuwon said probably Jordan. Bob Pettit said Bill Russell. I have a question for all of you guys. Does anyone wonder why the people who said Jordan or Kareem and didn't say LeBron are all people who've never played against LeBron?
Exactly. I think it's
Not a single one of them played against LeBron James.
Well, yeah, it's hard for them to judge that. I mean, but they also have their own bias as well. So
The one I think was funny in that one, the one I was like jaw dropped, was Isaiah Thomas saying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Because, I mean, granted, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is probably in the top three. But Isaiah Thomas, openly had said in the documentary, this man had dreams about having to beat Michael Jordan. He stayed up the nights of the finals, calling people, figuring out how we had to beat him. Like, don't tell me that, you would have to. He didn't even play against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If he did, it was young. He had definitely played against Michael Jordan much more than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he didn't even say Michael Jordan.
So there's one legend that I didn't read yet, and I'm going to read him right now. And some of us, I'm sure, have never heard of this player. Wilt Chamberlain, we've all heard of him, said in his opinion the best basketball player to have ever lived is a gentleman by the name of Meadowlark Lemon.
Oh, I know who Meadowlark Lemon is.
So that leads to my question. Can a scripted basketball player from the Harlem Globetrotters be the best basketball player of all time?
I mean,
You can't script the ball going in.
I mean,
No, and I would have to say yes, they could be, because some of these trick shots, they were like dude perfect stuff on the regs. Like, they were nailing it 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, I have to go
Dude
back
Perfect
and watch
couldn't do that.
Meadowlark a little bit more, because you can't exactly just say, whatever, Wilt Chamberlain knows nothing. Like,
Yeah.
he's
Wilt
one of the
Chamberlain
greatest,
played
and
with-
he was like probably the most dominant against his peers that anyone has ever been.
Wilt
Or
Chamberlain
Bill
played.
Russell. Him or Bill Russell, I agree with.
Wilt Chamberlain played for the Harlem Globetrotters, albeit for one season, but he was himself a Harlem Globetrotter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think he was a Globetrotter. I think they were called something else when he played. But regardless of the name of the team, you guys will just accept that it's okay for him to say that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not going to say Wilt
Yes.
Chamberlain can't say whoever. He could say
wasn't
I'm
joking.
the best basketball player, and
And-
I'd be
and
like,
okay.
oh, maybe I am.
And take it with some aspect of maybe he's right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you have to.
definitely.
You
Yeah.
have to.
I
Yeah.
see.
Any one of the people that you just listed, you have to weigh their opinion, even if you don't think they're right. You
I'm
have
sorry,
to
Bob Pettit means nothing to me.
say.
Well, the other
Um,
thing that I think about is the fact that it's hard for us to just willingly accept it, because it's not like we're comparing their talent and who they played against and seeing them in the NBA and in that type of competition. But someone as knowledgeable as Wilt Chamberlain or a lot of the names on that list, they know a thing or two about basketball. And if they're saying
Or
that
four.
this guy was the best basketball that's ever played, I mean, you're kind of inclined to take their word for it.
I just want to know, why first of all, nobody say Larry Bird? Second of all,
He's white.
Well, okay, did no one say Pistol Pete Maravich?
White.
Third, why did no one say Jackie Moon?
Yeah, exactly.
Jackie Moon! Alley-oop! Him and, what was his name? Sirius Black? No, Coffee Black.
Coffee Black.
Coffee Black.
Casting spells and crap.
Coffee Black. A.K.A. Andre 3000.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of it has to do with who their peers were and who they kind of grew up watching, because I don't think any of them can say that someone in the league after them is the best of all time. So that's